It's nice to have you, Congressman. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Let's talk about the industrial Midwest. I've spent a lot of time in your district, specifically in Ohio, over the last decade reporting. I know how upset you are about the GM plant closing there. It's been part of why you're running for president. But I think the American people really want to know, we want to know, what could you as president actually do to change that and similar plant closures? Because GM's plant closed because of market forces, right? Not because of who's president.
Well, we need an industrial policy in the United States where the president of the United States is actually driving the next generation of jobs. We're so divided right now that we're starting to lose the long-term economic battle. So the president should be sitting down with the private industry, the Department of Energy, Department of Defense, National Science Foundation, say, okay, how do we win the electric vehicle market, for example? Well, there's 1 to 2 million electric vehicles now in the United States or in the world. By 2030, there's going to be 30 million of them. Who's going to make those? As president, I'm going to say we're going to make those in the United States. We're going to make the batteries in the United States. We're going to make the charging stations in the United States. But the president of the United States has to drive this agenda with public-private partnerships, incentives for the car companies, cut these workers in on the deal. That's the next generation of manufacturing. I want that to happen in the United States and make sure the investment goes to distressed communities, communities of color, communities that have been left behind the last 30 or 40 years. This isn't just about GM 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
This is about a 40-year
That's dicey when you're
car wreck.
That's dicey when you're talking about capitalism and picking and choosing.
Well, not really. I mean, look, you've got to have a coordinated effort. We didn't go to the moon saying, oh, I hope the private sector gets us there. It was the public sector setting the parameters, making the investments, and then relying on the free enterprise system and the ingenuity and the creativity that we have in the United States to help get us there. We got to do the same thing in solar. We got to do the same thing in wind, additive manufacturing. These are areas that are growing 25 to 30% a year. And the president is asleep at the switch.
I remember after 2016, you were on and we talked a lot about the economic disorientation of places like Youngstown, Ohio, in your district. What is it that Democrats, forget the president for a moment, don't get about the people of Youngstown, Ohio, and what they want to hear?
I think we've become primarily a coastal party. You know, almost 2/3 of our House caucus lives on saltwater. And so the industrial Midwest has been forgotten about by the Democrats in a lot of ways. I want to bring that back. I don't think we can be a national party if we don't run strong in the Midwest, if we don't rebuild that blue wall, if we don't start winning in the South, if we don't start winning in rural areas. We've given up on rural America, too. I mean, rural America is in a recession. Farmers haven't made a profit in 5 years. And they have the exact same problems as we have in Ohio around manufacturing job loss, opiates, it's meth in places like in rural America. Their downtowns are falling apart. We need a national agenda that's going to plug these communities back in.
So there are some proposals to do that, like the Green New Deal, right? That's a national agenda, for example. Your proposal, though, what you just laid out for us, is based on capitalism. Are you at all concerned that more Democrats now, according to Gallup's polling, view socialism favorably than view capitalism favorably? Is that a dangerous line for your party?
Yeah, I'm concerned about it because if we are going to decarbonize the American economy, it's not going to be some centralized bureaucracy in Washington, D.C. that's going to make it happen. It's going to be part targeted government investments that do need to be robust, but it's going to be the free market that's going to, at the end of the day, is going to make that happen. They have the magic of the free market. They have the innovation, the creativity, a profit motive. I mean, the government is not going to completely decarbonize the American economy. We have got to work with them. You can be hostile to concentration of wealth. You can be hostile to income inequality. You know, you can be hostile to greed. We can't be hostile to the free enterprise system. That's how we get past China.
I mean, of course, it depends on how you define socialism, right? So the Democrats have one definition of socialism, and the Republicans are trying to turn that and make it a nasty word. You are for Medicare for all. And so, of course, the question is, how do you pay for it? What's the answer?
Well, either Medicare for all, some kind of public option that we could make sure we get to people. But I think that it's one of these deals where the reality of it is, you're not going to be paying private insurance anymore. You're going to be paying into a public system. In many instances now, people can't even get into any system. So we need that public system in place, some kind of public option for people to go to.
And people don't keep their private insurance under your plan, or they do?
They do. I would not take anybody's private insurance away. But
that's what the Medicare for All bill would do.
Yes.
And you've co-sponsored the one from Congresswoman
Yeah,
Jayapal.
the Medicare for All issue is really an aspirational, how do we get everybody covered
No,
in the
I hear you,
United
but
States?
you've actually put your name behind
course
it.
I
mean,
have,
you've
yeah.
co-sponsored it, but then you're saying I wouldn't do part of what it would do.
Well, we're not going to do this tomorrow. This is our aspirational goal. How do we get everybody in the United States covered? I don't back down from that. I think it's important. I think it's a human right for everyone in America to have health care, but we don't get there tomorrow. So how do we start getting people into a public option if they can't get health care anywhere else? And if you like your private insurance, you can keep it. But as we build this system out, it's important to have that public option.
The last sitting House member to be elected president was James Garfield in 1880.
Where was he from?
True story.
Good point.
He was from Ohio.
You're correct.
Come on, history repeats itself.
So it's not a worry, it's an asset.
Every century.
What's everyone talking about here?
Every century.
You just twisted that right around.
You
That
know?
is an asset. The front runners right now in Iowa and New Hampshire, I can pull them up for you. Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, Pete Buttigieg, Elizabeth Warren, Kamala Harris. What do you have that they don't have?
Well, as we said, I can rebuild this blue wall, but also I think I understand best what our economy has gone through in the last 30 or 40 years. I've lived in this community. My wife has lived in this community. My family has lived in this community. But because of that, I also understand where we need to go. I mean, we've been pushing these newer technologies in places like Youngstown, Ohio, around something like additive manufacturing. I understand where this economy is going because I've been on the ground, and I'm watching the old economy die. And I know where the new economy needs to go, and I know the president is asleep at the switch.
You quickly before we get to something else, something new here for you.
Fun lightning round.
Fun
for you.
lightning round.
Excellent.
Quick on this fact: you are a white man.
Yes, I am.
Are you committed to a diverse ticket? Meaning, if you were the candidate, would your vice presidential pick be a woman or a minority?
I'm not sure. I mean, we'll see where it goes by then. I mean, clearly that's the Democratic Party. That is America. My administration, probably my ticket, would represent the diversity of the United States of America. But I can't. I've been in the race 1 week.
You don't have all
I
the
hope-
answers. It's been 7 days,
I
Congressman.
hope I have that opportunity to sit back down and figure out who my vice president
right.
is going to be.
Okay, fun lightning round. Here at New Day, we love music. We play it all the time. We don't play it enough for the viewers, but in our commercial breaks, the crew plays it all the time, and we have our favorites. So, John Berman is a Deadhead. I'm trapped in the 80s. John Avlon is a U2 fanboy. Poppy Harlow tells me that she loves country music. So, your favorite music genre?
I'm a Matthews junkie, complete.
Red Rocks.
Yeah, Red Rocks, yeah. Tim Reynolds, unbelievable. And I'm a Bruce Springsteen guy. I mean, you can't be from Youngstown, Ohio, and not be head over heels in love with Bruce Springsteen.
Because he has a Youngstown song,
He has a Youngstown
which is
song.
not a
But
flattering, positive song. But
Well, it speaks to the economic issues.
There you go.
You know, and Born in the USA, many people don't really get the lyrics of that, but that is our area. So in some ways, I'm a Bruce Springsteen Democrat.
So your favorite band, Bruce Springsteen. Your favorite musician is Bruce Springsteen.
Dave Matthews.
Oh, Dave Matthews.
Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. And what song best captures your campaign?
I played for my opening "Closer to Free" by the Bodines. Yeah. So, you know, everybody wants to be free. Everybody wants to be closer to free. Everybody wants to be loved. You know, it's just I thought it captured where we want to be. You know, the connection that we're missing, which is great. What music does,
Yeah.
it connects us. That's if you want to look at the underlying problem in our country, we're disconnected. We think we're more connected because we've got phones and emails and all this stuff. But as president, I'd really like, if there's one thing we could do, is reconnect the country.
Bring back music. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Music is healing.
The arts
That's
have been-
a countrywide concert is what we need.
I like
Remember
it.
Live Aid? Do you remember the Live Aid?
Yeah, absolutely.
Kumbaya.
Congressman Tim Ryan, thanks so
Thanks.
much.
Yeah.
Great to
Come
talk
back.
to you.
Great to be with
Really
you.
appreciate it.
Yeah.